And we are live as can be today. Hey,
Yeah,
Mama,
thank
what's up?
you. Um, uh, I told you magic is real, and I had a lot of things sync up today. Basically, the bottom line is I needed to do a stream because Hell has something to say,
It's
and
so funny. Resurrection. Just
yes,
saying.
yes, it has to do with the resurrection. It has to do with the reconciliation, because today is the day, according to the Christian myth. Um,
Right,
it wasn't just Jesus that was resurrected. Okay, Jesus also opened the doors of hell and released many
right,
many souls that had been trapped down there. Okay, there was a release of all this people, all the generational curses, all just a whole bunch of stuff had happened, and I'm getting
right,
a really deep resonance that that is happening today. It wouldn't.
right.
Okay, so I'm getting actually I'm getting a time on the clock, and this may have to do with astrological time,
Okay.
but I'm getting a message that's like, okay, Kathia, at your time around 4 o'clock today, because there's going to be
Nah,
something about the number four.
fuck.
Um, yeah, why?
Fourth, 4:44 this morning, girl.
Oh shit, are you serious?
I'm totally serious. 4:44 this morning. Usually it's the threes that hit me.
Yeah.
Um, hey, Eastlyn, welcome. Um, Eastlyn's here. She's awesome. Yeah, 4:44. I got hit like hard, like
Oh, did you?
fucking woking woke up screaming. By
Oh man.
4:48, I was like a friggin' I didn't know what was the hell was going on with me. But I
Okay.
woke up screaming and then I started Chris's mom came to me.
Oh wow.
So go ahead. This
Oh
is gonna
shit.
be good,
Okay.
y'all. This is gonna be fucking good. I just already know it.
Well, okay, so this whole sweet child of mine thing mistake that you made not only just resonates for what's going on with me, but is
Hey,
also
Farron's here
resonating for you
too.
too. Wow. Okay, so now I know I'm on tap.
Yeah,
Let me start this out by saying how that I appreciate you doing this stream with me, because I do not have access to my computer. I don't have access to stream technology, and
right.
I got kind of struck with divine lightning. Okay, so Rita came down and Thor kind of whacked me up at the head, and I'm like, oh, I better do this because this is really weird. Okay, let me start off with saying that this started this. Okay, it started. Actually, it started a couple of days ago when you mentioned the Trinity between Hell, Loki, or when I mentioned the Trinity between Hell, Loki, and Sigyn. Okay, and then I had mentioned that he Loki will only have one son. Otherwise, Loki is the god of fatherhood, and he has all girls, which is the reason why historically he's been ignored as far as the god of fatherhood, because it's just girls. They're just girls, right? We want sons, sons, sons. And now it's the 21st century, and everybody's like, okay, we're done with that gender shit. So um so now is a perfect time for Hell to kind of go, okay, now I have something to say, which is absolutely part of Easter, or at least Oester, which is a pagan holiday. Easter's a pagan holiday. Get it, just get over it. It's it's just, that's how it is, you know um but the point of that was the celebration of the rebirth, the opening of the underworld. And it's about, and in this particular case, it's about energy flow. The energy has had a chance to transmute in the underworld. Okay, and so when the gates are open, this energy is allowed to flow out. It's not negative energy. When the gates of hell, actually I should say, when the gates of Helheim because I'm being very specific in this particular case. I'm talking Nordic, okay? But when the gates of Helheim, oh yeah, rock on Ishtar, hells yes. When the gates of Helheim are open, yeah, I know, Jens. It's sad. It really is. Because there's an I better not go down that path. I better not go down that path. Let's stick on our Helheim path. Okay. Now recall that Boulder is actually in Helheim. Boulder is asleep in Helheim. Okay. He's still down there. He's just asleep. Okay. He's not dead. Okay. He's under the protection of Hel, and there's a reason why he needs to be down there. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. It is I am glad to say that I am not the only Odinist or heathen or Nordic person who believes that the whole Boulder thing that Loki gets blamed for a lot actually was a scheme. It was done on purpose for a very specific reason, and it was a scheme between Odin, Loki, and Sigyn, and Hel is in on it too. Okay, there is a reason for it. But that being said, now that side note is gone, when the gates of Helheim are opened and the energy is allowed to flow back out and up again the tree, it's not negative energy. There's nothing attached to that energy. There's no demons there. There's no negativity there. It is transmuted energy. It's positive energy. It's life energy, because life energy comes from the roots of Yggdrasil and it flows upwards into the branches. And this is the type of energy that doesn't just reconcile the 9 realms, but also reconciles the upper branches. Okay. Hel is an extremely important figure. The reason why she's down there, Fenrir, is not because Odin tried to kill her. It's because Odin needed her down there. Just like Odin needed Fenrir to be isolated on the island that Fenrir is currently isolated on and is unbound and in the form of a puppy. I just want to say that's how it is in the 21st century. I don't know how it used to be, but Fenrir is not bound. Ragnarok has already happened. Okay? I know that's a little bit shocking. But if you take into account that apocalypses happen every day, it's not too shocking. In any case, where was I? Oh, Hel, being an important figure. Okay, so I'm sitting here I'm kind of processing what we talked about a couple of days ago, and YouTube's just kind of doing its thing. I'm not really paying attention to it because my daughter's got the TV with the YouTube app on it, and that's how I watch YouTube. Okay. So what passes across my screen is something very interesting and very particular, which is La Llorona. Now, if anybody knows anything about... No, it's not Freya's fault. It is, in fact, Loki's fault. He did that on purpose. But I'm not here to talk about that part. We're focusing on Hel, not Loki, which is odd for me. Okay. La Llorona, okay, passes across the screen. And I have heard many different twisted myths about La Llorona, okay? She is a mystical figure. But she also herself is a numinous energy, because La Llorona is just a cultural mirror for Latinos, whereas, say, in Ireland, we have banshees. It's the same fucking thing. Banshees and La Llorona, same numinous energy, same archetype. And I'm going, okay, that makes a lot of fucking sense. And I'm thinking back to some of the lore that's stacked up in my head, some mythology that's stacked up in my head. Okay. It filters back into the Nordic religion. It filters back into the Aztec religion. Okay, so now you're thinking, okay, what? Kathia, you out your damn mind now. Aztecs and the Norse didn't have anything in common. They didn't talk to each other. Well, actually, yes, they did. There are plenty of Aztec specific, Mayan specific, Native American specific stories that talk about the traveler being, in this particular case, Odin and or Loki. Okay, the Vikings fucking went everywhere. This whole idea that cultures historically way back didn't leave their area of land is completely and utterly ridiculous. We are a migratory species. Okay, you can go back 10, 15,000 years, find ourselves in caves, but we didn't reside in one damn cave. We migrated, we followed the herds, we followed animals, we followed the seasons, we followed the weather, we followed the cycles. We were not stationary people. We were hunters and we were gatherers. So a lot of this lore, which is oral storytelling, has been passed down, and it's been able to build. And that's how numinous energies build. Whether you're talking about a positive archetype or a negative archetype, or in this particular case, we could talk about a light archetype and a shadow archetype. It takes time for a numinous, like in the human psyche, in energy forms, in the 5D realm, it takes time for a numinous energy to build. And if you have the idea that some of these archetypes have been around for 20,000 years, this is a lot of time to gather energy, but it's also a lot of time to gather lore and to integrate yourself into different cultures in different ways, but always an overarching similarity between particular archetypes. Okay, now, again, this lightning strikes me as I'm making my cup of coffee, and I'm just kind of standing there staring at my coffee pot now, because I have suddenly gone from watching this La Llorona thing, which I put on pause. I get up in a trance and I walk into the kitchen, and the next thing I know, I'm looking at my coffee pot and it's filling with coffee, and I'm going, wow, that's fucking deep shit, right? V, you there?
Yeah, I just was muted, so I didn't interrupt.
Right. Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure we were all still, because I tend to go off at the mouth.
Yeah. No, you're cool. I'm just highlighting chats and stuff like that. So go on, please. Yeah, hellfire.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, right. And I was like, okay, all right. So this overarching energy with these weeping women, there's always something involved. All right. There's always this one overarching thing in which they all share this thing that they go through. The situation or the people could be slightly different, but the overall arcing energy is pretty similar, which is grief over the loss of love. There was something that happened. There was something that happened that caused these women to be so grief stricken that they could not get over it. And they just went with it. Okay. Now, back last year, I had been doing some deep work on archetypal weeping women, archetypal, like the stories of the woman who got jilted at the altar and she never took off her wedding dress. Do you know how many stories there are about that? I mean, good gravy.
Oh, girl, I've written several poems on that.
Yeah. Or the woman whose lover left her and went to go marry somebody else because she had a better station, or her father had more money or something like that, or the woman who lost her children and then her husband left her because she lost her children. Things like this overarching, the deepest of the deepest sorrow that a person could possibly experience, this woman can't get over that. Now, if you accept the fact, and this is also very ancient and it's very Egyptian, your soul can split. Your ba, it's called the ba, all right? That's the whole soul. When a person is full souled and it's not shattered and there's nothing wrong with it, it's called a ba, B-A, ba. All right? This soul, if it is traumatized, it can split up into 8 pieces. Now, you'd think, okay, wait a minute, that sounds kind of weird, but there's also lore to establish precedence on this. This is why we have Horcruxes. That thing that J.K. Rowling talked about, that thing that Voldemort did, that's real. That can happen. It's real.
Wow.
But usually it does not happen on purpose. It happens by accident when somebody experiences an emotion that's so overwhelming, you crack.
Huh.
And it doesn't have to be negative. It does not have to be negative. This can also be someone so filled with joy and love that you crack, you split. So it goes both ways. All right, now. Yeah, I know. This is pretty deep shit. This is pretty deep shit. All right. I was thinking back. What could happen to a woman who has that so much grief that they can't move on? What happened? What could possibly be? The only answer to this question is love. That's it. That is the only answer. Love caused that grief. What specifically happened doesn't make any difference. We're talking about an extreme amount of love. Okay, this usually comes in some kind of investment. Deeply, deeply satisfied, deeply contented with their life, thinking that everything is good and everything is fine, and then suddenly everything just gets swept out from underneath you. And the loss is so great, that love loss is so great that you just can't bring yourself to move on. And so you split, your soul splits. You, the person, moves on to whatever. But this energy here that is you and now not you becomes sentient, and either a negative entity can come along and swallow it up. We already know that this happens. Otherwise, there would not be the name Legion. That's
Right.
how Legion grows. He collects lost numinous energy that humans have left behind.
Huh.
It's a demon. He collects negative emotions. We already know that this happens because there is something called the Dybbuk box. The Dybbuk box is a Horcrux for a woman who experienced such horrible traumas during the Holocaust. She had no choice but to split her shadow self off because she could not deal with that grief. And she literally put it in a box, and there it remains to this day, now owned by Zach Bagans, I think. Because I'm sure he tried or he did end up owning the Dybbuk box.
Huh.
So we know that this exists. We know that this is true. There's modern documentation examples of what I'm talking about. Why is this not done historically? Well, mostly because people were too afraid to talk about it, because at the time that this stuff is occurring, it's actually being labeled as black magic or witchcraft, which it's not. It's just the shadow portions or the demonic portions of human psyche that humans just do not have the courage to look to.
I agree.
No, we can't deal with that. Let us move on.
So we're going to call it witchcraft.
Correct, because they don't know what, I mean, come on, they don't know what else this is.
No.
It's not their fault, not really. This is why justice takes a while to happen. This is why it's hard for dharma to occur, is because sometimes it takes 20,000 years for this to happen, because we were not ready for the message. As a human race, as people, we were not
Right.
ready for the message. Now we're ready for a message. Now we're ready for a message.
Ugh.
Okay. Well, but first we
Yeah.
have to shake off. First we have to shake off what our parents have put into us. Okay. Now, this is also important. The whole thing about releasing generational curses, this releasing of this old, okay, that's healing. But it's
Right.
more than it's more than I thought it was. It was more than we think it is, because it goes from the bottom of the tree all the way to the top of the tree. This is a complete reconciliation.
Wow.
This is a complete reconciliation. It's not quite done yet. We are towards the end of it. Okay? We are
I
so
hope,
close. It's
because
not even
this
funny.
shit's painful.
Yes, it is, because of the waiting. And it's the kickback from these energies that have held us down for so long.
Mm.
Okay? They're trying to maintain control, and they just can't do it, because the pendulum must swing in the opposite direction. You cannot stop that from occurring. You can't do it. The ascension will happen regardless of what
Right.
the chaos demons or the negative energies want to do to try to hold us down. Things are going to change regardless. If you want to stay in that past energy, that's where you're going to remain until somebody comes along and sets you free, or you set yourself free. And because this
Mm.
requires deep, deep shadow work, there's a lot of people who are going to get real fucking stuck when they're dead. And I don't
Right.
necessarily mean as ghosts.
Damn.
I just mean
Yeah.
they're going to be stuck in the underworld. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be stuck in the traditional Christian logic of hell, but
Right.
they will be stuck in Helheim with hell, because they didn't learn to move the fuck on. Okay, so this is where we go with the La Llorona. This is the reason why these energies are negative, is because these energies are eternal, not immortal. An immortal numinous energy is adaptable to the cycles. Okay? It's adaptable to the cycles. Eternal numinous energies are not. Demons are eternal, angels and gods are immortal. And I know that sounds kind of weird, because
Yeah.
people think, because here's the thing, people think fallen angels are demons. Nope, wrong.
Mm-mm.
The only demons that exist are the ones that man create.
Thank you.
Fallen angels still serve God. Period. Well, I should say divine source. Fallen angels, what Christians say, oh, that's let's say that's
They
I
have
have a whole
names.
list of fallen angels. Yes, they have names.
Yeah.
Actually, one fallen angel, this is true. One fallen angel, which also appears in the Nordic myth, is Murmur.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Murmur is supposed to be a fallen angel. Murmur is not evil. Unlike angels, he'll beat you aside your head in order to get you to realize something. Whereas, like, Michael won't. Michael be like, all right, I'll just let you sit there until you figure it out. Murmur will come along
Right.
and go, oh, you haven't figured it out? Well, I'll just spank
Bam.
your ass right here. I'll spank you until you fucking figure it out. That's the difference between a fallen angel and an ascended angel. A fallen angel is not afraid to cause harm just enough for you to get the fucking point. Okay? And
Right.
if you and your decisions and consequences take it further, that's not the fallen angel's fault. That's your fault. You didn't learn the lesson when I put it on your doormat. You stepped in a pile of dog shit and you didn't clean it up and you tracked it all over your house. What are you, stupid? I'm imagining
No.
Red Foreman looking at them and going, "You're a dumbass." You know, that's where
Right, right.
from the guy from that
Uh,
70s show,
that's funny.
stop being a
Yeah.
dumbass. You know,
Yep.
kind of a feel. And that's where fallen angels are. So fallen angels, regardless, still serve source. They still kneel to the structure and order of divine source. Whereas demons, they don't fucking care. They have choice. That means they have to be at some point human along the way. But you've got all of these investigators and paranormal people going, oh, they're not human. They're not human. They were never human. That bullshit. I'm saying that they may have never been human as a full soul, but a portion, that dark shadow, that demon portion of that person that broke off and shattered, was absorbed by a numinous energy, by an archetype energy, and that became the demon. But regardless, we still create the demon because we don't look at our own selves to heal ourselves, to look at our shadow selves and our demon selves and go, okay, dial it back there, squirrely Dan, about 30%. Now tell me what the issue is. You know what I mean? So we've got so now we've got this demon that we've created. That's where the demons are. But those demons can come and go at will. They don't need a gate well, they do need a gate or a door open. I mean, if you're a psychic, if you're a spiritualist, you know not to leave your damn doors open. You know to close them bitches. If you're doing a Ouija board, you know how to do it right, and you're not allowing anything in. And then you close the damn door. It's like picking up the phone. You don't pick up, okay, the old analog phones. You don't pick up your old analog phone and then just leave it laying off the hook, do you? No, that's stupid. You keep it on the hook. That's what you're supposed to do. You open the door, you close the door. Don't be a dumbass.
Well, some are playing around with things they shouldn't be playing around with lack of knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, so what can cause somebody to be so grief-stricken and so sad that their soul split in two because they could not deal with this, and they've left an imprint, this energy, this numinous energy that's been absorbed and is eternal, and all it can do is the same thing every single day, all day long, every day for the rest of eternity. There's no day, there's no night, there's no cycle, there's no rest. It's just ongoing, like a battery. Okay. Yeah. Well, this gave me food for thought. And I'm like, okay, I remember, I think one of the saddest moments in my life, and it was absolutely the worst thing I have ever done in my whole existence. Oh, you can get the fuck out of my room. Hold on. I got an entity in here.
Alrighty.
Give me a second.
Very interesting. It's been a wild ride since 4:44 this morning, folks. I'll tell you that for sure. Even in my realm here, I woke up friggin' screaming and just some crazy shit going on. Crazy shit going on in the friggin' universe. That's for damn sure. But I was welcomed and by a beautiful lady. Hard for me to talk about it. And then I don't know that song. I had to play from my friend Captain Chris, Dreaming of Elvis, and then Sweet November Rain. I don't know. This music just kept popping, and then Kathia calls me, and I'm like, "Oh, hellfire!" And that's why we're doing this stream. Give her a minute; she'll be back. Yeah, Finnear. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, when they show up, that's going to be a hell of a ride. Yep. If they're not already here. The wizards, that is, for lack of better terminology. You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. I need to sage. Something popped through
Okay.
a door that should not have popped through, and the altar is gone in the fairy room. I had to remove it because we're cleaning the house, as you know. There was some
Right.
damage that a tenant did, so I had to take down the altar in order to get into a corner, and the altar is not up. So a lot of the protective barriers that I have around the house are, well, they're put away at the moment. So
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't been hyper vigilant, but I have sage and Palo Santo wood on tap, and it doesn't take me long for me to basically light it up. And I know that sounds really weird, but I promise
That's
I am
cool.
not insane.
We already know that there's
Yeah.
nothing that, yeah. I don't even think
Um,
insanity exists, to be honest
yeah.
with you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, where was I about? Oh, I was going to reveal, I think, the worst, the saddest, the,
Yes.
and all right. Okay. And this is where we're going to get into the discussion with Hel, and we're going to touch on Slipnir.
Okay.
Okay. I've been through a lot. I've had a lot of grief. Okay. And the worst thing that has ever happened to me, and don't get excited, is the day that I had to take life.
Ooh.
The
Okay.
Yeah, don't get excited.
No.
Don't get excited. It was
Me.
a puppy.
Right.
This puppy was the runt puppy of one of my brother's dogs. Now, when I say one, my brother is an idiot. I have to preface this that my brother is an idiot. He was going to basically breed his own thing of pit bulls. Now,
Oh
as you know,
God.
pit bulls are already overbred.
Right.
Um,
Damn.
I really don't like talking about this because, like I said, my brother's an idiot. Okay.
Right.
But he bred Sophie so often. Her very last litter, and he didn't take care of her either. All he did was keep her chained up out back.
To
Look,
breathe. Oh Jesus.
I don't like talking about this part because there's so much grief involved with it, and we're talking about a
Right.
dog here. Okay. Anyway,
Right.
so Sophie's last litter was basically, it was three puppies. Okay. And they
Mm.
were not healthy when it happened. Well, Sophie wasn't healthy either. But the third puppy, the runt that came out, was so two of her legs were withered. Okay. Bone
Oh.
was sticking out. You could see the muscles still attached to the bone. And it
Mm.
very much looked like the face of Hel. It really did. The dog, there was no way this dog was going to live a normal life. There's no fucking way. There was skin, fur missing.
Oh
There were,
no, no.
and
Mm.
the poor thing just kept living. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I couldn't handle it. And my mom, Della, she couldn't handle it either. Nobody could handle this. Sean disappeared. Sean just fucking disappeared. None of us could handle it in the house because we were waiting for the dog to die. The dog lived for 2 weeks, and it was in such pain, and it just kept living.
Oh my God.
So, okay, y'all, get out your handkerchiefs because I'm going to reveal to you my only alternative. And believe me when I say it is not happy. I took a bowl of warm water and I put the baby to sleep
I'm sorry.
because I could not allow this puppy to continue such a suffering existence. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And I prayed to the goddess, please take this life and take care of this life, goddess. Please take this beautiful puppy. Take her into your arms and care for her because I couldn't. She can't. She's suffering so much and she just kept living.
Wow.
I am not ashamed for what I did. I'm not ashamed.
Right.
Because that dog had no way of living a normal life. And there was no way we could afford the vet bills to fix this dog. It had no feet.
Wow.
It had no feet, V. It had bone. This dog would have been walking on its bones, its bare bones. And I couldn't bring myself to wring its neck. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. So I put him in water. And I had this memory while watching La Llorona, and I thought, you know what? I don't think this woman killed her children out of malice. I think she had two children who were severely disabled. And when her lover left her, there was no fucking way she could take care of them. And so she did the only thing that a pre-colony woman would do. Because you're talking about a very, very ancient story about a woman who had children, who lost her lover somehow and could not take care of her children. And so she did the most responsible thing that she could possibly do. Instead of watching her children starve to instead of watching because you can't let your baby cry from starvation. No. So you do the only thing that you can do. You walk your children down to the river and you drown them. Because that would be merciful in the face of bloody flux. Do you know what bloody flux is?
No,
It's when the stomach lining collapses and your intestines collapse because you've starved. Your body is starved to the point where you can't handle it anymore.
Wow.
So this is what I think happened. Loki, when he had Sleipnir had 2 withered legs. Did you know that? Sleipnir has 8 legs as a horse. 2 of them are withered. The other 6 are very spindly like a spider. Oh yeah, it's horrible, Eastland. Bloody flux is fucking horrible. Sleipnir, the reason why Sleipnir was born the way that she was because Loki spent time with Arachne, both as a human and as a spider. Okay? That's why every human incarnation of Loki gets bitten by a spider. It's usually a brown recluse or a black widow.
Wow.
That's the reason why brown recluses and black widows are exiled from the spider kingdom. If you put a brown, like a real brown recluse, I'm talking about the ones with the violins on their back. There are many different types. There are many different species of brown recluse, but I'm talking about the one that's venomous, the one that's aggressive. It's got a violin on its back, okay? If you put that brown recluse in with other spiders will kill it. If you put a black widow in with other spiders, those other spiders will kill it. That's because the brown recluse, mythically, we're talking about lore here. The brown recluse and the black widow plotted to kill their father Loki. And they were found out. And Arachne exiled them out of the spider kingdom and said, if we ever see you, you will be, all of your descendants will die. You can't, you're not doing that. Okay, because Loki and Arachne are very close. Don't ask why. You'll have to read the book. I know. I did say Loki was the god of fatherhood, and that's because he's also the father of all spiders. He got Arachne pregnant. Now this was before Sleipnir. This was before Angerboda. This was back when he was just a young man, and kind of playing the field. And he's like, "Oops, I got Arachne pregnant. Oh well." Wow. Yeah, that was me. Sorry. Which is the reason why he gets the audacious title of father of monsters. He's not the father of monsters. He just happens to be unlucky in that particular area. Anyway. Wow. So now again, the one who took Sleipnir was Odin. Okay, because Loki couldn't handle Sleipnir, not because Sleipnir was rambunctious, but because visibly Sleipnir was disabled. The horse is disabled. It's got two withered arms, and it's got all of the legs are underdeveloped, which is the reason why Sleipnir's legs look like spider legs. It's a direct result. Yeah. Okay, let's see. A lot of people don't know this. Okay, so I'm sitting here going, well, that's very interesting. Okay, because if you're following me, the whole theme of this is withering.
Yes.
Because Loki's his youngest child, this is his youngest girl, his final girl, his last girl that he has with Angerboda. Hel comes out withered.
Right?
Yes. Yep. One half of her is very beautiful, and the other half
is dead.
No, it's not dead. It's not dead. Their bones are alive. Bones have marrow. Bones get fed blood. Okay. If an exposed bone is exposed over a lifetime, okay, like that, right, it will eventually disintegrate. It'll eventually crumble. Well, if the bone is not crumbling, then the bone itself is getting nutrients. What has happened is that the skin and the muscles have not grown over that bone. It's a disability. It's not dead. There's nothing about Hel that's dead. Okay. But she can't live with other people either because of her disfigurement. It's an extreme disfigurement. And she's going to be made fun of. It's not that Odin took her away to punish her. And a lot of this stuff comes out of the prose. Well, we're scared about your power, so we're going to throw you into Helheim. No,
that's what I heard.
That is not what happened. N-O-T, not what happened. Odin is like, you can't be up here, not because we don't love you, not because we don't care about you, not because we're exiling you, but because you need your own place of sanctuary. You cannot be here and be comfortable. You cannot be here and not suffer. You cannot be here in Valhalla and not suffer from social. It's just going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you your own home, your own place, your own sanctuary in the roots of the tree, because the roots down there, Niflheim, is not a bad place. Niflheim is not a bad place. It is a place of rest. It is a place of healing. It is a place of transformation, transmutation, adaptability, flexibility. Everything goes down into the roots for a reason. Respite, sanctuary, sabbatical, all of that. That's where she needed to go. We're going to keep you safe. We're going to let you heal. We're going to keep you there because that is your place. That's your home. That's your spot. This is where you need to be. Otherwise, Loki would never be able to go and see her. The gods would never come down to see her. God, she's visited all the time. She's visited all the time. She's not alone down there. Hel is not alone. Hel is not a negative entity.
Right.
She is a goddess of healing, death and healing. Ego death is a good example of that. She is involved in the death of the ego. From the death of the ego, you can rebirth a new ego, a new identity, a new value, a new sense of belonging, a new purpose. All of this comes from Hel, not any other goddess. Well, I mean, in the Nordic.
Right.
Okay. Remember, I'm a devoted Norse.
Right.
All right. So that being said, I'm sitting here thinking that there is a huge connector here. There's a huge connector here with Hel and the withered portion of this idea. And that through Hel, through the underworld, which also reflects back, it mirrors back through shadow work, you are able to reconcile the spiritual realm, but also your own personal spiritual realm, which means you can call back your own pieces of your souls and reintegrate yourself. So there's a lot of crossover here between myth and psychospirituality, as you can see that I'm pointing out here. So as you heal your spirit, you are also healing your own ego, your head space.
Yeah, I was watching some stuff on psychospirituality just the other day after we talked. Fascinating.
Yeah, and it does not subvert from the ideas that there is a spiritual realm. It only adds another layer and another connector piece to what's going on. Okay. Also, it reflects this idea of a numinous energy, that we can contribute to a numinous energy, whether positive or negative, doesn't make any difference. We as people, as we live, are planting these seeds. These seeds have energy. This energy is numinous energy. It's archetypal energy. Spirit doesn't care about the details of a thing. We're talking about an overall arcing idea, an overall arcing emotion, something that is an archetypal idea, and it's thrown out there. And then then it can collect. So if you have so let's say, for example, you have an area, let's say like a gold mine. Let's say a gold mine. This is a perfect fucking example. A gold mine, a gold mining town. Let's say Goldfield. This town, over an extended period of time, every single day sees greed, corruption, sex, murder, violence. And the whole overarching numinous energy is what? Greed.
Yep.
It's greed. It's greed. All of that's greed. More sex, more money, more violence, more blood, whatever the case it is greed. Okay, well, those numinous energies. Yeah, okay, so you're greedy for money, whatever. You're greedy for sex, whatever. It's still greed. Greed.
Right. Greed is greed.
Plus one. That's right. So we've got +1 greed here, +2 greed here, +5 greed there, +1, +1, +1. Suddenly you have +5 million points of greed. you have created a demon, because that numinous energy walks around the area and collects. And now you have this overall arcing negative energy of a location, a geographical location. And because it's in that location, it won't leave. And so now you have all this paranormal activity. Because not all of those numinous energies is great. You do have some people leaving behind feelings of joy, feelings of happiness, feelings of satisfaction, feeling about enough. But these are energies that don't combine, because the positive energies must combine with, say, like a vessel of some kind. I'm just throwing this out as a this is all speculation. This is a theory. Okay.
Okay.
Which brings me to the thing that I'm more positive about, which is that these negative numinous energies have the ability to collect and become an entity all on their own. So you're not seeing multiple entities. Well, you can see multiple entities, because this archetypal demon energy can split itself apart, but also bring itself together again. That is called legion. That's a real demon. That's called legion.
Right. Yeah.
So where is the angelic legion? Who's that?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, because when there is one of something, there is an opposite of another. So we know that there's legion. Who's the angel that collects the positive numinous energies and is there to balance it out? Because I don't see one. I don't see one. Is that the role of the human? Is that what we're supposed to do as light workers?
Interesting. Huh. Wow. I don't know. But
exactly.
That sounds
and the only way, yeah, that sounds about right. So what I'm thinking here is that the only way to reconcile legion is to separate him by layer by layer.
Holy fuck.
By healing the numinous energies that he has acquired. And that's the only way you can do that. Which is the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying about hell, is because the only way to reconcile and to defeat an energy like that is to do shadow work and help others do shadow work too. Put the fucking effort into it. So I'm kind of confused I'm a little confused as to what message she's trying to give me about that. Like, is this the divine purpose that I've been put to? Is this a message I'm supposed to give to somebody else? I'm not, I don't know. But she's very adamant at saying, that right now, as of right now, there's kind of like a ghost town going on down there. Whatever happened last year reconciled generations of people.
Yep.
Not just one or two, but like millions of people are have been released today.
And I do believe it is a message, because we were just talking about, and we are scheduled for another stream for just shadow work. Whoa, that was trippy. Okay. I got some people with me too. Some entities, but they're all good. Yeah, I definitely believe it, because it's been like, it keeps coming to me too. Shadow work, more shadow work. And I'm like, I'm tired. I'm in pain. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm exhausted myself. And spirit is like, well, we need you to do this thing. And like I said, I have told all my guides, the only reason why I'm doing this right now is because Hel asked me to do so. That's the only reason. That's it.
Because we were sent. We sent ourselves. We've literally.
Well,
yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Well, okay.
In a way.
But the thing with me personally here is the only reason why I said yes to do this is because she asked me to. Okay. Wow. That's it. Because I have repeatedly told all my guides and all my spirits, all my angels, I'm not doing anything until I get what I was promised, which is my Loki. No Loki, no work. I'm done with it. You give me what because I'm tired of waiting. You will provide me with what you've been promising me, or I don't do anything. That's it.
Sissy,
And I will sit
Sissy,
here
I
until
did the
fucking
same
the end
thing.
of
I
time.
wrote
I
a
really will.
declaration. Seriously,
Sorry,
I
go
will
on.
not manifest for one more person. So y'all stop friggin' bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually saying, I will not manifest for anyone but myself right now. I have to take care of myself. Y'all are killing me, man. Literally,
Yeah,
that's what I feel like I'm being spiritually friggin'
drained.
sucked
Yeah,
dry.
dry. Yeah, because and I agree in the prophetic vision last year, Friday's vision during the Scorpio eclipse,
Mm,
both he and I got to a point where we were both drained until we were damn near dead. Now,
mm-hmm.
he saved himself by taking my fire, okay? And he healed himself. But he came to me, he removed his own heart, he caught it on fire, which by the way has actually has lore meaning. I didn't know that until just recently. Loki
Uh-huh.
is the eater of hearts.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. And Loki showed me and basically ate his own heart in front of me and just let it go. And I'm trying to figure out, well, eventually I'll figure it out or I won't. That's just it, whatever that meant. But
Right.
when he did, he all of his power, everything about him just drained out and he became this zombie looking thing. And then he reached over and he plucked my fire from my heart and he swallowed it and he healed. But what it did was it killed me. I went down
Right.
for the count. I took a knee. I took a knee. Everything just drained right out of me. Everything, all my life force, just everything just drained right up out of me. And I just said, fuck it. I didn't want to, you know what? You're killing me and that's okay. I'm fine. I'll die because I don't want anything else. I've made up my mind. I made up my mind 10 years ago. I made up my mind 5 years ago. I made up my mind 7 years ago. It's Loki or it's fucking nothing. And that's all there is to it.
Right.
There's no more. Whoever it is, because I don't know, like I said, we were talking about numinous energies. I don't
Right.
know what face he's taken on. He is the doctor. He's my Chiron. Okay, a lot of this is very lore based.
Right.
Again, my divine language, this is how the divine is speaking to me. All right, it's got to be him, but I don't know what his face looks like anymore. It's like a wheel of fortune. Pick a face, any face. That's not my job.
Uh,
That's his job. But whoever it is going to be Loki. His dad's name is going to be Odin. That's how I know. That's why there was that confusion last year, is because there are things that I was looking for specifically in a particular individual, and some particular individual that I'm talking about damn near fit the fucking box almost to a
right.
T. Now I don't know.
Well, that's
That was
interesting
yeah. Yeah.
that he would say pick a face.
Well, no, that was me being excited. He's not asking me to
Okay.
pick a face. Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Because
pick
I was going to
faces.
say that would be really interesting, because that would be like fulfilling your heart's desire, that he would be anything that you want him to be.
Well, no, I have no say in that actually. I mean, when in the past, when he was incorporeal and he was with me all the time, he would do that. He'd be like, do you prefer me to wear, what kind of face would you like prefer me to wear? And it got to the point, because at first it was fun, but
Right.
then it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't want you to put on your mask is fine. Because the way that I see Loki, all right, now, no, he does not look like Tom Hiddleston. I have been asked that question. I have been asked that question. Does he look like Tom Hiddleston? Only if he wants to look like Tom Hiddleston. That's the answer. Loki will look like whatever he fucking wants to. He's appeared to me as Ricky Jarvis before. Okay? Loki will appear with a face that will be relatable to you so that you get the message. But if you were to see Loki as his archetype without the basically if he were naked, let me just use that as a metaphor. If Loki was naked and you could see him, basically he's a black silhouette and he wears a mask, and the only thing that's clear is his eyes. That's the only thing that you can see is his eyes. That's it. Otherwise, he's just a black silhouette, a shadow man. That's why I called him my shadow man. Which, by the way, I'm not the only one who's seen this. My gym dude. That's how me and my gym dude bonded, because I was talking to him about my shadow man, and he goes, "Oh my God, you know the shadow man?" I said, "Yeah, my Loki." And he went, "Oh my God." And it was like, okay, you've seen Loki as a shadow man too. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay, we're meant to know each other. So I know I'm not the only one. Me and my gym dude share events with the same archetype using the same identity. Okay, so I know I'm not nuts. And I didn't know this guy until last year in October, which fueled my whole belief flame. My fire got real flamey in October last year, which is the reason why I was absolutely motherfucking convinced that he was going to show up. Instead, he drove right through Kokomo, and I know he did because he went to go see.
Yeah. We won't mention names. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm right there.
And I was fucking devastated because the prophecy did not come true. And I was like, I can't believe this. All this other shit is happening except that one thing. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? And I was just like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I am officially fucking letting this go. And that's what happened in November. I'm like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm going home. And that's exactly what happened. Right. Don't be the torch girl, which turns out is actually a Loki thing. It's called Loki's Brenna. Look it up.
Okay.
But all this shit's been coming out in little bits and pieces for decades with me, and none of that, and that's all the whole part of that waiting thing, that justice, that dharma thing. Well, now it's all going to start to line up, and you're going to go, and it's going to start ticking off boxes, tick 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 tick, and that's why I got confused. I was like, but it's got to be that guy,
right?
It's got to be. He's ticking off all the fucking boxes. So why isn't there any? What the fuck is going on? There's nobody else that fits the boxes. He's ticking off boxes. I didn't even know there were boxes to tick off until now. I mean, I'm still getting boxes. I'm getting messages about stuff.
I'm sorry, but I got to tell you something funny. What my son said. He goes, Loki's an asshole. Just like that. He just comes out of the blue. He goes, Mom, Loki's an asshole. And I'm like, but we love Loki. He's a trickster. No, remember? Yeah. So, but I mean, enough is enough already. Enough tricking. When does it get old? And when does the real
Loki's not tricking anybody. He's not tricking me.
No,
he's not building me up for this big ha-ha moment.
No, I believe that he's just a funny guy. He's a funny god. I mean, I said, I don't think he's an asshole. I just think he's very misunderstood, because I think that he has such a great personality that nobody can yeah. It's like what I say sometimes. I'm the funniest person I know, and people look at me, you are not funny. And I'm like, I am hilarious. You all just don't know it yet. But I mean, so I can like relate with that side of Loki so well. Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't see. Yes, he is an asshole, but I also see all these other things too. And
but the way he said it was just too funny. The way because my kid is a matter of factly, so it would be like this: Mom, Loki is an asshole. just like that, and you're just like, oh, okay. Sorry, I had to say that because it was just like, okay, go on your merry little Welsh way, babe.
Yeah,
You're
to be
still
fair,
half Norse. I don't care what you say. How you're gonna deny it? You can't deny the bloodline, dude.
no, to be fair, he's right. Loki is
Uh-huh.
an asshole. But from where I'm sitting, I'm seeing another side. There's also this other side that a lot of people aren't brave enough to.
Hey, Darth.
They're
Welcome.
not brave enough to. Oh, hey, hi, Darth. They're not brave enough to look at that part because it is a little scary. When I first
Yeah.
saw him, I saw him in his true form,
Ooh.
which is
Ooh.
a monster. It's Loki. He is a monstrous form. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
had to. I was thinking I was in hell, but I don't think so. I think I was in
Mm.
Muspelheim when I saw him. He was in a cave and he was chained up, and there was, I believe this or not, there was one of the 100 armed men was the guarding the entrance of the cave. Now
Hold
I
on, I gotta
didn't
mute
know.
for a minute, but go on. Catch Darth. We're talking. Well, I'll let Mama tell you.
Well, well, this okay. We kind of got off topic, and we were back back. Surprise! We're talking
Yeah.
about Loki, but we were talking about hell. But there's a connection. There's a connector here. Okay, and so the okay to go back to the topic that we were talking about, which was this message. Okay, and this is why we jumped ship over into Loki, because the overall arcing message from this numinous energy of the La Llorona, the Banshee, the Weeping Woman. I'm just gonna call her the Weeping Woman. Okay, is the grief and the sorrow that has come from, probably, in my opinion, having to take the life of a child because the child was withered and suffering, and there was no way it was going to live a normal life. Because you're talking about this in historical, you're talking about this in past. Okay, this is not modern. This goes back, thousands of years, where there was no such thing as, well, we'll just take him to the hospital and get him plastic surgery. No, no.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
when you
Right.
have a child that's born inside out and it's alive, and it's obvious that it's in pain, or it's born without skin, or it's, all of these suffering things, you do what you don't want to do as a responsible parent, which is you
Shit.
take the child's life because there's nothing else you can do. All right, again, this is all historically speaking, and this is where that numinous energy comes in that I was talking about. Okay, so the overall arcing, the one word message from this numinous energy called the Weeping Woman was one word: twisted.
Whoa. Whoa.
And I'm like,
That
oh,
hits home to me hard right now. So, wow. Okay.
yeah. And that's the reason why we're talking about Loki again, because if you're going to twist something, you're going to need Loki.
Right. Uh,
I sound like I'm fucking obsessed, and I'm not.
we know that this is myth. This is myth. I don't want to say. Well, this is just belief. It's not to do with any human person. It has to deal with the god Loki himself.
Yeah.
Let's get that
And I have to
perfectly
admit, there's
straight
some.
again, people. Because some people will run with this shit, you know it, and blah,
Yeah, I
blah,
know.
blah,
That's the
blah,
yeah,
bullshit. Yeah,
that was part of the confusion from last year.
yeah.
Oh, she's talking shit about this guy and talking shit about that guy. No, actually, I was talking shit about a cat and a
Uh,
god and a
Right.
mythical character, and so there was all of that going on.
Yeah.
And there was
But that
also
was so
other stuff
last
going on
year.
too. It
Yeah.
was, and I just, honestly, I don't want to get.
I know.
I'm
Thank God we got
looking
through
down at
that.
my
Yeah.
pants, and I'm an idiot. That's
But,
definitely a theme. I'm wearing my spider web pants, and I didn't even realize it
oh my
until right
gosh,
this
that's
very
funny.
instant. Okay,
And
so
I was putting on my
there's
spider web
definitely
shirt.
something.
I was putting on my spider web shirt this morning.
Were you really?
Yes, I was. That's funny shit right there.
Okay, well, see, no, these are all synchronicities that point in the
Yep.
same direction, which is this
I
is
got
the
the
path.
top and you got
This
the
is what we're
bottom.
supposed to be talking about. This is
Yep.
definitely happening 100%. Okay. And the whole sweet child of mine mistake, no, yes,
Yeah.
because it's a song celebrating the beauty of your child.
Right.
Okay. And it's not that historically speaking, thousands of years ago, when we didn't have hospitals, we didn't have plastic surgery, we did not have all of these things. And that, this stuff's only like 70 years old. you
Right.
know if you were getting a nose job in ancient Egypt, this was a king sending his
Right.
daughter, a princess, to India to get a nose job. There's only one documented cases of this happening. Okay, so it's not like the lay person or the slave was able to um
You would think so, Darth.
you
You
think
would
so,
think.
but maybe this is the fantasy, and I don't have to separate anything.
Ah, good
Yeah,
one.
see? Yeah, I know. Okay, all right. No. Okay, so the thing here is that, yeah, this is mythology. It is mythology. We're talking mythology. We're also talking lore, and we're also talking historically things that happened in reality historically that mirror behaviors and culture that create that lore. Okay, so if you've got, oh, you know what? Like, being a slave is a perfect example. If you're a woman and you're a slave, you really don't have a lot of say in who has sex with you. Okay, that's just it. That's all there is to it. That's how it worked.
Right.
Okay, so you could get pregnant and it could be anybody because you're a slave.
Right.
Okay, and if you have this repeated behavior and you're pregnant and you give birth to a child that's obviously not going to survive or is suffering in some way, it's not like you can take that child to your master and go, "Here, master, here's your." No, the master will say, "Okay, well, you know what? I don't want that child. Go drown it in the river."
Right.
That happened a lot. And regardless of culture, that happened a lot. That
Right.
happened definitely in the Viking Age. You have your thrall that you brought back from England. You're making her work the farm. There's really no telling how many people have raped her at this point. She
Right.
comes up pregnant. She has a child that's obviously not going to survive. You tell the slave, you know what? Take that baby to the river and go drown it. I don't want to take care of that thing. It's an extra mouth to feed. It can't work. You're a slave. What are you going to do? Well, if you don't do it, I'm going to beat you and do it myself. So it don't matter. Okay, so the child is going to die anyway. And on top of which, I'm going to get a beating. No, I'm just going to take that child down to the river and I'm going to do what I don't want to do, which is drown it. Historically speaking, historically
Right.
speaking,
But
making sure this is clear.
better the mother do it than some asshole.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You
Yeah.
know, so this creates a numinous energy. And because this is happening by water, we all know about stone tape theory. At the very least of all of this, at the very bottom of all this, there is stone tape theory. This is a thing. Stone, water, the quartz in the stone actually record energy. It records energy.
Well, sure.
And so if you've got an area by the river, in which there are a lot of occurrences
Right.
of this happening. What's going to happen is a numinous energy, an archetype energy is going to form. And what it's going to be is it's going to be in the shape of a female crying over the loss of over the loss of their child. Because for females, there's a lot of investment in this pregnancy. Regardless of how you feel about the pregnancy, there is an
Right.
investment here happening. That is your flesh being growing in you. You are nourishing it. There is something going on. Okay? And for somebody to just give it away or kill it or whatever, that takes a lot of energy from a human woman to do so. That's a feminine energy, and
Wow.
it takes an enormous amount of to do that.
Wow.
That doesn't discount the child's existence. It doesn't discount
Wow.
the mother's sorrow. There's still an investment there. There's still a connection there. And the loss of that is felt. It's not
Wow.
bad. I still believe it's not a bad thing. This is something that's natural. It's part of the cycle. Even animals do this. If there is, and God
Yeah.
only knows why. Well, okay, so the reason why Sophie did not eat that puppy is because my brother took the puppies away as fast as he could.
Mm.
Because Sophie had devoured, before this litter, she had devoured her other two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in order to keep these puppies, he removed them as immediately as possible to prevent her from devouring them. So Sophie knew.
That's really interesting.
Right. So what is it all comes down to this idea of feminine grief. Feminine
Ugh.
grief. And that's Hel. That's what one of her jobs is. It's not just that she is um a goddess of the underworld and whatever. It's it's a transformative thing that feminine grief must pass. And if it doesn't, it becomes a numinous energy
Hmm.
and walks the earth near the water on the shoreline. And actually that makes a lot of sense because, and we're getting into Loki. One of Loki's domains is the shoreline, the sand between land and sea. That's one of his domains.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna have to send you that one story I wrote because it totally resonates with this, and it's so crazy because when my son was born, he didn't breathe for 7 minutes. I have recently found out too that when I was born like not alive, but I'm alive now.
Well, that's because we have
It's
modern medicine.
right, right, but but and then he said something to me very peculiar at the age of like 3 or 4. He said, "Mom, you tried to get rid of me before, but I came back." It's a 4-year old. I'm like, whoa. Because I did. I had an abortion when I was younger, and I have this effing sadness on me. So I'm wondering if all the crap that I have not been going through lately is I'm holding on to so much past grief.
Um, well, I have a different perspective of that. Okay. And this is why I am not well, I don't
It's just
mind.
making sense to me. What you're saying is like really resonating with me, is what I'm trying to
uh,
say in my
okay, well,
realm. Yeah.
this statement will also resonate with you. I do not like anti-abortion people. I don't, because they always go back to the whole thing about God.
Right.
And if that is their argument, then I have to say this, and this, I'm sorry, V, this may piss off some of your viewers. All right, so be prepared.
Ugh,
Here comes my
like that
statement.
hasn't happened before, right?
Yeah, here comes my statement. If you are anti-abortion because you believe the God thing, then your God is weak, pitiful, narrow, and small. Because the real God, when he wants a child to be born, that child will be reborn regardless of what your puny human mind wants to happen.
Right.
That's it. If
Right.
divine source wants a soul to emerge into this world, it will happen. A
I was told I
measly
would never
abortion
have
won't stop
kids.
shit.
No,
I'm
I
sorry,
was
V. I'm
told by
sorry.
several doctors I will never, ever, ever have kids because of that abortion. They messed me up, but nobody understands why. Nobody's asked me, why did you have an abortion, Nance? Because when they did the ultrasound on the baby was dead. It was brain dead. There was no activity.
Well, that's not your fault, V. Don't worry about that.
Right. No, but
Environmental factors happen. Like I said, if divine source wants a child to be born or a
right.
soul to be born on this earth, nothing is going to stop that soul from being born because divine source has said so. And that's it. That's it.
20
That's all there
years
is to
later,
it.
20 years later, I birthed my son.
Yeah, exact. But that's my point. And then your son at 4 years old, not knowing anything
Yeah,
about this, looks up at you and says, "Well, you tried to get rid of me once, but here I am."
right. No, before. So apparently it's been several times he's been trying to come, but there's been other factors obviously trying to get in the way. Whatever it is, I'm trying not to overthink any of it. I'm just
No,
trying to, yeah,
divine
the
timing
twisted
isn't just
thing. The
timing on
twisted
the
thing.
right.
Yeah,
Oh, the twisted thing. Oh, okay. Well, let me get into that. Divine timing isn't just divine source timing or angelic timing or astrological timing. It's also your divine timing. You have choice. You
mhm,
always have choice. You have free will. Okay, somebody forcing you to have a baby just because they think it's morally correct is incorrect on their part because they are violating your free will. That's it.
right.
Whether it is a bad choice or a good choice makes no difference. For me to interfere with your choices is violating free will. It's violating the law. It's violating the law. End of discussion.
Uh, yeah, good point.
That's why I
Good
don't
point.
like, I really, and again, if this offends people, I'm not sorry because this is a personal opinion. I do not agree with anti abortionists. I don't. Because of free will. People have to make their own choices, and sometimes people have to make bad choices to learn something.
Right.
If we're all happy go lucky and we all live in the Garden of Eden, what is the fucking point? What is the point?
That's
We're just
right.
overbreeding and overeating. Gee, does that sound, does that
Uh,
sounds like now? That sounds
right.
like now. Yes.
Yeah, it surely does. Interesting.
But this
Meh.
world is only so big, man. Because I had a close friend. She said, we don't need to go into space. Everything we need is right here on planet Earth. And I looked at her and I said, well, then why the hell did God make the space so damn big? If we were not meant to go out into space and colonize it,
Right.
why did God make space so fucking big? Because it's huge.
Right.
She looked at me and she had no answer. The other people in the room laughed because I was right. If all we
Right.
needed was here on Earth, then we wouldn't need all them damn stars. We wouldn't need a Jupiter. We wouldn't need Saturn or Pluto. We wouldn't need all that stuff. It would just be Earth and the moon and the sun and a couple of stars, and that's it. But that's not what we have. We have this huge
Right.
universe, all of it working beautifully in harmony and in balance, the good and the bad. And that brings me to the whole born dead. Okay, so there's this dude I know. And he tells me one day, he says, I have a demon inside me. And I said, what?
Oh, geez.
Well, I have a big, huge, powerful, primordial demon because when I was a baby, I died and I brought it out of hell. And secretly, I laughed. I laughed at this asshole because I'm going to tell you what, everybody has a demon. Nobody brought demons out of hell. Everybody's born with it. Everybody's born with a primordial demon. Congratulations, audience. Everybody is born with a demon. It's your job to reconcile your demon, your inner demon, with your inner angel. It's your job to do this. If you lay around and you do not do your shadow work, if you do not learn your lesson, this demon inside you will hurt you over time. Because it is a fact. Your grief will follow you in your dreams. Your sorrow, all the bad things that you've ever done will always follow you. You'll always be dreaming about being chased by a monster. If that's your monster, you created that. That's your demon.
Right.
Based on the choices that you make while you live, the demon will grow bigger or smaller. But it's your job to reconcile. I have to say, reconciling my demon is a struggle and it requires maintenance. She's greedy. She's promiscuous. She's ugly. Oh my God, she's obsessive. You can probably hear that negative Scorpio coming out of me. Okay, so that's the reason why I've got this volcano here is Fujiyama Mama. It takes a while for me to go, but once I go, it's just I can't stop it.
Yeah.
It's
I hear that.
an explosion. That's her, man. But that's also because she's hurt. Something has happened. And she's gotten hurt. I mean, that's the point of the demon, is to protect you from outside sources, from outside traumas. That demon is a protection. But that's where that ego thing comes in that we were talking about the other day. Demon is your devil is also your ego. Your ego is there to protect you. If you are in a position in your life where you can't handle supernatural or paranormal, your ego says, "Yeah, don't worry about it. That was just the wind." And you're like, "Okay, good, because I can't deal with the spiritual shit right now."
Oh boy.
But there also comes a time where you have to, there also comes a time where you have to put it to sleep too. Okay, demon, it's time for you to diminish. Well, your demon doesn't want to hear that. Your ego doesn't want to say, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere. This is my space." And then you have a battle. You have an inward battle.
Right.
So everybody is born with this ginormous demon inside of them, a shadow, a negative side. And it doesn't matter whether you were born dead or not. It's there.
Right. Good point. Interesting point too. Yeah, because wow, what if the demon wants you to think that that's what happened?
Well, of course, because that gives the demon power,
Yeah.
So what you've essentially done is you've given yourself over to your own demon. And now your demon can do whatever the hell it wants. Meanwhile, your inner angel, which is out of balance, is trying to fight through, and this imbalance does cause physical ailments.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's just funny where my pain is too. Like I'm being kicked literally in the ass. You know what I mean? And that brings back another memory, but it's disregarding that. It's just it's quite humor. I'm finding it quite humorous now. It's like, really, fuck.
Well, it could be that you weren't ready to hear the message, but now you are.
Right.
You know, and this
I'm
is where
serious.
forgiveness
Yeah.
comes in. You have to
Ooh.
be able, yeah, see, you have to be able to forgive yourself for being stupid. Seriously,
Right.
do you know
Oh,
how
good
many
one.
times in my life
Uh-huh.
I've been completely and utterly stupid? I have made bad choices completely in innocence. I really didn't mean to. And then I look back and I go, oh shit, I did that. So now
Yeah.
am I going to torture myself and tell myself how stupid I am and how I don't you know, I'm not valuable. I deserve to be punished and all. No,
Ah,
no, no,
bullshit.
no.
No, absolutely
I
not.
need I need to give myself grace. I need to give myself
Right.
forgiveness. I didn't know. Now I know. I'm going to try not to do it again. Okay. All right.
Right.
And I'm
And
not going
there's
to do
the
that
big
again.
word.
And that's how I make amends. That's how I tone. But then,
Yep.
you know, because Loki is like, okay, well, you only make a mistake if you do it once. And I looked at him and I said, okay, my love, but there's multiple ways of making the same mistake.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
And
Yeah.
he says, "Oh, touche." So
Yep.
yeah, it was like as long as you don't make the same mistake twice the same way. See, that's where it comes in.
Aha. Hmm.
Yeah,
Soak up
and then
that one. Yeah.
yeah, and of course that's just a rule of thumb. Sometimes I make the same mistake the same way more than two times just to make sure that I'm not, what do you call that? User error.
Uh,
Yeah. Is it really my fault or is it somebody else's fault? Well, I'm going to do it again this way just to make sure. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. One more time. Okay, that didn't work. Yeah, it's me.
right.
I did that. I'm not doing that again because
Right.
I've covered all my
Right.
bases. I've done all my due diligence. I'm not making it up. It's not in my head. Yes, I did. I fucked that up. It was me. And now I'm not going to do that way ever again.
Right. Right. Yeah. I get that. Sometimes I
Because,
say, I got premeditative, and I hate to use the word sin, but whatever, mistake. I got a premeditated mistake here in my head. Am I going to F and do it or not? Well, let's test the theory on that one. I'm always testing the theory 3 times. Yep. And
yeah.
by the
And
third
that's,
time,
yeah,
if
that,
it's still friggin' nasty, well, you know what? The first time should have let you know, but you had to go 2 more times. But that's okay. I'm not doing that again.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, and that's
exactly.
perfectly fine. Absolutely, absolutely fine. Because then you know for sure that it's you. You know,
Right.
you made the mistake. You made it this way. It was definitely a mistake, and so you need to learn another process to see if that works. So you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes, and you're going to fail. But the process of making the mistake, the process of failure, is going to be different until you find a process of success.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
very Lokian. That's again, that's why I that's that's why Loki is so very forgiving. Loki, Heimdall, and Jesus are very, very forgiving guys. I'll tell you. They're
Hmm.
both all three of them are just amazing, amazing, amazing.
All three of them could be one. Just
No,
saying.
no, definitely different
No,
definitely different dudes.
you think?
Definitely different dudes. Oh, I know. I've met them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a bizarre experience and it was definitely um humbling. Let me just say the word humbling.
I gotcha.
Their message to me. Definitely three completely different dudes and amazing, just amazing. There's no other word I can put there on that.
Uh, uh,
Give me a second.
okay. That's interesting. That is very interesting. 3 separate entities deriving from one source. Interesting. This whole conversation's been utterly interesting.
Yeah, these insight bombs, they just sort of happen. And
yeah.
I again, with the whole, I never would have done this unless like I said, she asked me specifically. She's like, please, please, please. I've never asked you for anything. You know, I've been there. I've helped you out. This is what I need you to do. And I'm like, okay, all right. You know, that's fair. You know,
right.
I can't tell her. She never asks me for anything. You know,
she never asks anybody for anything.
Yeah, no, she's really just a very sweet girl. She's really, well, okay, I'm talking about her like she's my stepdaughter, which is sort of right. That's kind of weird that it just sort of came out that way. The point I'm making here is that she's very, very sweet, you know, and when I got her story, because the whole reason why the Greek pantheon and the Nordic pantheon are even connected is through echo. But when I met Hel, she's not she's not anything like what Snorri described. I mean, yeah, she's got the half face thing, but that's not her. She's not this ominous. She's just not that. She's very happy. She's very balanced. Her beauty is from within. It's this inner beauty that comes out.
Love. I call her unconditional love.
Well, because she is.
Uh-huh.
She is. I mean, she has a deep, deep caring for those who are in her house. Yep. She cares deeply for the well-being of the dead. She cares deeply. I mean, this whole thing, the whole reason why Ragnarok even went down, the whole reason why Boulder. Oh, sorry.
Excuse me.
Okay. I just got. I got my shoulder got tapped, meaning I'm not supposed to reveal too much.
Okay. Well, that's so understandable.
I'm going to say this. Let me say it like this. There is a huge, huge reason why things went down like they did. Okay? There is a point to it all. And basically, Loki has been asking for a long time for people to look past this big thing that people are upset about, look past that, and have faith that I'm not just fucking with you. Have faith that I didn't just fucking kill him for no reason. This wasn't out of jealousy or spite or rage. There was a fucking reason. And nobody seems to have enough. Well, first off, nobody seems to have enough faith that Odin didn't see this coming. Odin is the great prophet, man. He's the dreamer. He's the seer. He looked into the well. He knows shit. He can see shit coming. Not once did somebody, well, okay, there were very few people who said, you don't think Odin didn't allow that to happen? Are you kidding me? Yes, Odin allowed that to happen. Of course he did. Because they were in on it. And there was a reason why.
No.
Yeah. Have faith in me being an asshole. There's a reason why I have to be an asshole. Have faith in me.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's that emperor energy. The emperor has to be an asshole because there's shit going down that you don't know about, and I don't have time to
Right.
explain it to you, number one. And number two, why would I explain it to you so that you could go explain it to somebody else? Loose lips sink ships.
Ships. Mm-hmm. Indeed.
I got
You
a
don't
thing.
go.
I have to be an
Yeah.
asshole. Trust me. He's like the doctor. Do you trust me? Yes. And then he stabs you. What the
Right.
fuck, doctor?
But
There's a
yeah.
reason why I'm stabbing you. Don't get upset, but I'm going to stab you again. Stab. Doctor, stop. No, there's a reason why. Trust me. Oh my God. No, usually there's a reason.
Yeah.
Trust him and wait.
Ugh, that
I
weight
know.
thing. Yeah.
So,
Enough to make
like,
anybody
go ahead.
growl. I
Yeah,
said
I
that
know.
weight thing enough to make anybody growl.
Yeah, I
Ugh.
know. Okay, so that brings us back. That's going to circle us back to the whole thing with the withered goddess today. Okay.
Okay.
For whatever reason, she needed this message to be out. Okay.
Right.
I cannot explain this to you. I don't know. Um that's it. That's all I have.
Wow.
Seriously, I I don't know how to explain the need to do this. I
Well, I'm
just
glad
accept
we
it for
did.
what it is, and maybe it'll resonate with somebody. Who knows?
Mhm.
I
I'm
don't.
honored. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
honored to have been able to stream this. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Except especially since what it's been going on since 4:44 a.m. I forgot what the fours mean, but
4 is stability, karmic justice,
oh wow.
balance, Libra. Um, yeah, it's just something coming full circle,
Oh
which is the
wow.
reason, which is
Yeah.
odd because it's happening today, which is Easter. Okay, and this is
Right.
the rebirth. This is the day of rebirth. Okay,
Right.
it is the day in which the spirits ascend into heaven. This is the day of release. But today's release is so huge. It's so huge that I have the underworld goddess tapping me on the shoulder and going, "Hey, I need to talk. I need a
Wow.
voice." And like I said, she's never asked me for anything, and she's such a sweet girl. She really is. She's so beautiful, and she's so misrepresented. I mean, not to say that she's not a bitch, because she can be. Oh, yes, indeedy do. But that's not her overall energy. That's not who she is. She is so much more than the sum of her parts. And it does grieve her a little bit that she's not appreciated as she should be, you know? And I think, without the love of her mother and without the love of her father and without the love of her sisters and the rest of her family, she never would have been able to be who she is today, which is a very stable underworld goddess. Her divine purpose is the care of the dead, and their well-being and their welfare, you know, which it can get kind of complicated because we're talking about dead humans. I mean, come on, they're that humans are complicated as it is. Dead ones,
Right.
well, that can get pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel I feel like maybe the energy is that they are tired of waiting for the story to be written. But as I said, I cannot finish the story without Loki showing up in my life. He activates me. I can't, it's just not going to happen. This is a spiritual thing. This is a divine purpose thing. I have to be activated. My life is on hold as far as that's concerned. And it's very difficult to explain to somebody who doesn't understand, because then they come out with the old standby. Well, I think you need to do some shadow work and find your own self-value because that
Yeah,
sounds like a dependency. Bitch, you don't even know. Seriously. Did you just throw
right.
that on me? I got a big FU. I got a big old barrel, all kinds of, I got a whole truckload of FU with that one. I know what my divine purpose is. I know what my path is. This isn't codependency. This is a spiritual thing. It's about divine purpose. It's about divine timing. And I cannot finish the story. I just can't because I don't know which Loki I'm getting. I don't. It's like trying to determine which doctor I'm getting. Is it number 3? Is it number 5? Is it number 1500? I don't know. He finishes the story, or at least he helps me finish the story. He activates it. I don't know whose torch I'm holding. That's very poignant. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Huh.
I'm holding a torch for Loki because I'm Loki's Brenna, and I don't know which Loki I'm holding the torch for. That's really fucking mythic, man.
Uh, wow. Wow, I got nothing on that one. Shit.
I don't either. That just sort of came
Huh.
out of I th- I think that was a message for me. I got a message, V. Yay!
I believe it is. It certainly wasn't for me.
Oh my word.
Oh,
Wow. Now there's like total silence on that end.
right.
Everything's
Awesome.
lifted now. Yeah, they're done.
Certainly.
They are done. It only took an hour and 46 minutes. Crime
Right.
and neatly.
Hey,
Well, I
that's
did
not
say
bad.
well,
That could
no. I mean,
that could have been 146 lifetimes, girl. I'm done. I don't want to repeat this bullshit again. That's all I got. I better get the fucking 100% on this test.
yeah,
That's the way
and
I look at it.
that very well may be what Hell's message was, is that she doesn't want her house to become overpopulated again. And I
Right.
imagine, and it's because here I imagine that a lot of these souls are coming from the last that Ragnarok that happened. And I don't think there is any living person on the face of this planet that will deny that World War II was fucking Ragnarok. Come on.
Mm, interesting theory.
Why not?
Mm,
The
why not?
whole
Exactly.
planet,
Why not?
the
Why
whole planet was at
not?
war, for crying out loud. In some way or another, the entire planet, every single
Right?
country on the face of the planet was in some kind of chaos, some kind of war. If it wasn't outright physical, like Ares Mars type war, it was a political, back behind the scenes spying war. South America was
Right.
involved, Africa was involved, China, Japan, Mongolia, everybody was fucking involved in this war. Everybody. It was fucking Ragnarok. Come on. I'm sorry.
Huh.
I'm sorry.
You're right.
That's a
You're
personal
okay.
thing.
Don't.
Yeah,
No
sorry.
worries.
So
Oh,
of course it's going to take a few generations to recover from that shit. I mean, come on. That
right.
was I mean, come on. That's huge. So it does not surprise me that all this stuff wraps up all at the same time, because all the stuff that happened during, well, I mean, fuck, if you count World War 1 as the catalyst,
Right.
World War 1
Or two.
depression, because the
Right.
depression was everywhere. And then straight into World War 2. Well, that sounds like the end of times to me. And I can see
Right.
why our grandmothers, our great grandfathers, I can see why they thought such a thing. I can see it. But being on the other side, we can tell them that everything is okay. We will pick up the torch and we will recover for you. Everything's going to be fine. But, us being spiritually stunted, I will call it a spiritual stunted. Our spiritual growth has been stunted because of this. We're just
Uh,
now coming into the idea that we, the living, can reconcile the dead.
Right?
Yeah. But it takes time. Just like I said about those numinous energies building up. It takes time. It takes
Remind,
generations.
remind me to send you another. Oh man, if I still have, I think it's in my cloud. I have a picture that I don't even remember drawing or creating this thing, but it looks like this chick is just getting like friggin' murdered through her stomach and out her back. And what came to me one night is no, that's the go through. Whatever the go through is, I don't know what the go through is. I have a sneaky suspicion what the go through is the passing on or passing over or letting shit pass through. I don't know. But remind me, I got to send you this because I was going to cover it up, and the more and more I look at it, I'm not going to cover it up because it's got some kind of meaning, and evidently I made it when I was not in awake land, you know,
Hmm.
which I do
Okay.
sometimes. Yeah. So remind me. Never mind. We
Okay.
need
Okay.
to go on. Go further.
All right.
Go further,
I'll
Fuji.
okay. All right. Can you hear me? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll remind you. Don't, no worries.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Just wow. It's kind of we're kind of in the cool down mode of the channeling portion. If anybody was wondering, there's a
Yeah.
warm up which takes about 10 minutes, and then there's about then there's everything that they want to say, and then there's a cool down because
There has to be.
well yeah well it basically it's my circuitry, if I can use that analogy, um because my remember what I said about that heart brain?
Yeah.
Okay, well that gets activated. Okay, and both the heart brain and the top brain kind of work in synchronicity, in balance, because we have to. It's a skill. You have to train yourself in order to do this stuff. This what do you call, what the fuck do you call this?
I don't even know.
Is this channeling? Am I a channeler? Well, I knew I channeled, but
Yeah, that's
I
been coming up
channeled for like
to
an
me
hour and
lately
40
too.
minutes.
Wow. That's
Maybe I
crazy.
do.
Mm.
Okay. I'll just, you know what? I'll process this later. Because taking on this title it's a big thing. It's a big responsibility,
Yeah.
and especially considering the downloads that I've gotten, and am still getting apparently.
Right.
So, yeah, well, it's new. It's all new to me. I mean, I could do little bits and pieces earlier in my life, but now it's like plug and play.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
oh yeah.
girl, come on. Seriously. I was just telling Chris the other day, and he's like, "Where did you hear that from?" I said, "I don't know. Spirit just told me, channeling
Yeah, it's like
that I need to build some walls. That's another topic that we should really touch on is building your walls so we don't get them vampires coming in and sucking some crap out of us that's unwanted. Just
oh, I
saying.
am totally on board with that, because that is like one of the most difficult things that I
Yes.
have, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning that, but I'm definitely in a lot better position than I was, you know, before, because I have new
Right.
barriers, I have new perspectives and all of that. But yeah, that, you know what? I'm just going to, because next week's the one on Wednesday that we're doing. That's going to
Yeah.
be on shadow work, but
Right.
I didn't have a specific, it was just going to be general, shadow work in general.
Ooh,
But I mean, it could get specific, but
yeah.
you said building.
Boundaries.
Oh, that's that building
Oh,
boundaries.
not
Oh, I
boundaries.
did a video on that once.
Did you? Oh, gotta
Yes,
look that
I
up.
did.
All
I
right.
have my channel turned off. Everything is
Oh,
turned off. Yeah, I
okay.
said I wasn't doing anything until
Oh,
Loki
that's
shows up.
right.
And I
That's
damn
right.
well mean it. I'm sorry.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I get it. But not
Well,
so much boundaries as wall, like serious walls.
yeah,
Maybe
boundaries,
that's,
walls,
I don't know.
protective barriers, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, protective barriers. Yeah, against, yeah, because I was feeling it the other morning. I'm just like, gee, criminy, man. I am not accepting any of this. And it just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And that's when I was like in this like foggy trance, I don't know, half sleep, whatever you want to call it. And I said, and Chris asked me, are you okay? I said, I don't know, channeling. And he said, where'd you hear that from? And I said, I don't know. Spirit told me channeling. Said, I don't know. Is this a new gift? Damn, I'm going to have to fucking go through boot camp channeling now. Seriously,
Well,
you know?
the thing with that is if you don't want that, you don't have to claim it. You can give it back.
Right.
You have a choice. When the spirit offers you a gift, you are not obligated to take that gift. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You have
Yeah, but
free
I want to
will.
advance. I want to advance and I want to advance in my skills. So, of course, I'm going to accept it.
Well, if that's what, I'm not
Yeah.
saying not to. I'm just
Right.
saying
Right.
you
I
have a
get your point.
choice. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people don't know that. Yeah. You do not have to accept your gifts. Yeah, absolutely. Do not
Yeah, there's
have
plenty
to.
of people who do that. Yeah. Mm. But
I've done that for
yeah,
too long to where it's just like, no, but they come so fast, man.
it does. It does.
Yeah.
It comes fast. And it's like all voices but one. Well, at least that's how it kind of feels. It's not like a real human voice. It's
No.
just like the absence of a voice, but your brain is basically it's picking up that radio frequency, and
Yep.
it's like your head is a radio and it's coming out of your mouth. So it's yeah, that makes sense. Of course it makes sense.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you
Did I
are
tell
the
you that
yeah.
that Chris actually is the first one that has actually taped me talking to entities in my sleep or in the other
Really?
realm? Yes, it
That's
was
interesting.
fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. He said, at first, I didn't know if you were pulling my leg, if you were awake and just, bullshitting me. And I'm like, let me hear, let me hear. So he played it for me. And I'm like, wow. And I'm listening. And all of a sudden, this conversation comes up. And I'm like, am I in bed? He goes, no, you're standing up talking to the TV. And the TV was off.
Oh shit, V, you're a scryer too.
And I was
Whoa.
talking. And as soon as I heard the word, you know what I mean, babe, I'm like, oh, hell, I'm fucking talking to my ex. No, we don't know which ex that is. Okay. I have several of them.
Yeah, there could be
Um,
could be anybody. Yeah.
yeah, but it was just, I knew who I was talking to. Let me put it to you that
Okay.
way by the tone of
Okay.
my voice. And my voice had changed. And it was like that time I fell asleep on one of Jedi Bill's streams, but I went to hit the off button so I didn't push any other buttons, and I hit
Mm-hmm.
record, and I had recorded myself, and I had gotten up in the middle of the night and I was battling with some mofos. They kept turning the heat up in my apartment, and I kept yelling, "Who's turning the heat? I'm the only one in my damn apartment. It could only be me." So was I
Mm-hmm.
fighting with me? I was fighting with me. I was fighting with a bunch of my shadows. That's when I started the shadow work.
Huh. That's a possibility. But also, it may not have been your furnace thermostat that was going up. If you are surrounded by negative energies, the temperature in the room would have risen.
Aha.
Yeah, a temperature rise and the smell of sulfur is an indication of a
Yes.
demonic entity.
Well, there was no sulfur. I didn't smell sulfur this time, but
But the
I
increase of
see
heat,
said I see said the blind man. Seriously, on that
yeah,
one.
yeah. So, I mean, if you watch, any amount of paranormal shows, when they're in the presence of, say, like just a regular dead person, right? And they're
Right.
feeling creepy, the air gets cold. They get cold and their goosebumps
Yeah.
stand up on their arms. But when they're in danger, there is an increase in temperature, not a decrease.
Wow. And that's interesting too, because with my diabetes, even though I'm so regulated, my sugars will say perfect. I'll feel hot or cold at any given moment. Seriously, and it's been happening more and more and more and more and more to where it's like, wow, I'm checking my sugars. It's not my sugar. So it's nothing physically. So
Right.
it's got, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Might not make a
Yeah.
lot of sense to most, but
No, yeah, because then once you get into that space where you've determined that your physical ailment is not brought on by, um let's just say, the 3D, that it
right.
very well may be an effect of the 5D, then you have to ask, is it an outside demonic entity or is it an inside demonic entity?
Uh,
Okay, so is this a demon
usually
that has
so.
come into my space, or is this my own inner shadow, my own inner demon trying to reveal something to me that I need to address? That
Aha.
also takes time to process. Okay. Yeah, it can get, that's why it takes so much fucking time,
Right.
is because there's all you have to, and it's just like diagnosing a physical ailment. You have to tick off the boxes of, it's not that.
Right.
Okay, it's not
Right.
that, and it's not that, and it's not that, and it's not that. And that could be a very long list.
Indeed.
That's why diagnosing somebody takes so many tests and so much time, is because they're ticking off the boxes of, okay, well, it's not that. And it's ruling out, that's what I want to call it, ruling out stuff.
Out. Yeah.
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 Process of elimination. Yes, thank you. Where have you been? You should have been here
Huh.
helping me.
Huh.
There was something in the room and you should have been here helping me. Yes.
Well, they're all helping on this side. Let me tell you, because I can tell when something's trying to get through, my pain level will rise beyond. If anybody could take this pain on for 5 fucking minutes, man, they would go insane. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm not taking not one damn thing for it. I'm letting it go. You know what I mean? I'm letting it manifest, flow, and go.
But you're still being watched by a doctor, right? You're still doing your due diligence with your doctor stuff, right?
Yeah, I just changed doctors, so actually I have to go because some of the pain is coming from my kidney and I might have an infection, so I have to go down and get some tests run. But that's an easy fix.
Right. Just,
Seriously, physically is an easy fix. It's the spiritual that's like, wow.
yeah, yeah. But just, as a disclaimer, it's
Yes, I
both,
am.
you're doing both in balance
Yes,
with each other. Okay, all right. Just because,
yes.
there are some really dumb people on the internet. Okay. I'm just,
Oh God, please. Yeah, yeah. He'll and actually I've called some places down here that are some light workers, and hopefully we'll get an appointment to go that route too. Having Chris here has been friggin' I'd be dead. That's all I
I
gotta
believe
say.
you. I believe you. Are you looking into Reiki? I don't know how. that would
I
work,
don't,
because
I
I
don't,
know where you're at. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking into all possibilities, of everything, the everythings, because there's just not one answer, I believe.
no, there's not one answer. It's going to be a multitude of things, and as you go through your process, it'll probably change too. So
Right.
that's just part of the transformation process. But I'll tell you, it's worth doing your due diligence, at least for yourself. I mean,
Yes.
even if, and this isn't going to happen, but even if my divine masculine never shows up, it doesn't matter. Number one, I can live without him. It'll be difficult, but I can do it. I'm not afraid of doing. I mean, I've done it up until now. I
Right.
mean, I'm fine. I'll get through. There'll be, some crying and some grief, but I'm not the weeping woman. I won't split my soul, and I will carry on, because there's other shit that I can do. There's other shit I need to do. It's not all about
So,
him. It's not all
so
about me.
speaking of split souls, though, if one soul was split, how does one get it back together?
Oh, there's ceremonies that you can do with that. Um, let's see. My ceremony. Well, I did my ceremony with Loki, so it's kind of okay. So this is what my Loki told me, and this is what Echo told me, and this is also what Isis spoke as well. Um, what you're going to do is you're going to sing. You're going to sing
Um,
your soul back. Yeah, you're going to. It's basically your call. You are being stationary, but you're going to create your sacred space, and then you're going to sing out loud so that your soul can hear it. All these pieces will be attracted to your voice, and it will magnetize back. It will come back. All you have to do is sing
wow.
so that it can find its way home. That's the important bit. It is singing.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, that's what Isis did to bring back ugh, 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 Osiris. And
Mm.
she couldn't really, but she couldn't bring, there was a portion of him that she could not bring back. Okay, just putting that out there. But she sang to attract the pieces of his ba back, because Sobek had been tricked by Seth into okay, you know what? Read
Yeah,
the
I
book.
get it.
You're gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to. The
Yeah,
point
but
is,
yeah, it's resonating. Trust.
yeah, sing, and it can be anything. I mean, you can
Yeah.
sing anything, but preface it this with, I'm singing my soul back. I'm recalling the pieces of me back. I need them to return home, and they will come home. They will fly to you. That's why the ba is represented in Egyptian mythology as a bird with a human head, because these pieces will fly home.
Huh. Interesting.
Also, crows and ravens. Just saying that too.
Oh, well, we know me and the raven, so especially the white raven, the albino raven.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, singing is the best thing. Now there are charlatans out there, okay, which is the reason why I say do not pay somebody for these
Right,
rituals, especially if you can't afford
right.
it. Do it
Well,
yourself. The
right.
information is there.
And
Yeah.
for it's free. This is free from source. So why should, I mean, I would
Well,
understand
because okay, well, let
tipping
me explain
someone
that.
or something for their knowledge, but for these people that are charging these absorbent amount, here, I will show you how to manifest anything for $1,400 an hour. Well, hellfire, I can manifest anything for $1,400 an hour. Give me
Yeah.
$1,400, I'll manifest something right now. No,
which
that's
goes back to that whole Houdini
yeah,
discussion. And I agree. When it's unreasonable, it shouldn't be happening. You're right. Um, the the whole idea of getting paid, okay, is because now I am not going to sit here and say that all mediums are charlatans. This is not true. And Houdini would have said the same thing. Okay.
right,
That is not what's happening. The charlatans are the ones who just are in it for the money. They may even think that they're that their heart is in it and then their intentions are there. However, for them this is a job. This is how they make money.
right,
Okay.
right,
But um there are mediums, okay, who are real and who do need paid. Okay,
right,
as a spiritual person, if I'm helping you, I still need to pay my rent, I still need to eat food, I still need to pay utilities, I still need to pay my car insurance. There are things that I have to do to live. Okay, and I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people who'll be like, oh, okay, well, you're a spiritualist and you need a donation. You've spent 14 months with me trying to do this thing, here's $1. Oh,
uh,
hell no. No, no, absolutely not. That's that is not a valid reciprocation. That's unfair. That's unjust.
right,
Okay. It is. It is. So the balance here is that their mediums spiritualists do need paid. They need a paycheck. They're not doing this because out of the goodness of their heart. I mean, they don't have to do this. They are doing it because they love and that they have the gift and divine sources providing. But also there is this exchange of energy. Okay. Now,
right,
it is also true that mediums will be like, oh, you're going to give me $1. Okay, well, that's going to come back on you. Divine source will provide for me, but that's going to come back on you. However,
right,
what has happened is this particular spiritual person has put an enormous amount of energy and time into this one case, and there's nothing left for anybody else. There's healing time involved. You're not just down for the moment of this particular individual and then that's it. There's energy works, and healers, spiritualists also need time for themselves. We don't get paid for our downtime. We don't get
right.
paid for our sickness. When we've taken on somebody's sickness and healed them, now we have to deal with our own sickness. Do you get paid for laying there on the couch being sick, V?
Nope.
Neither do I. It comes out as far as karma is concerned, but you know what? Sometimes karma doesn't pay the bills. Sometimes it doesn't happen on time. And the next thing you know, you're fucking homeless. This has happened to me. This is the reason why
Me
mediums
too.
do need paid. They do need money. They do need the reciprocation of that energy. Okay. However, if somebody comes to you and says, well, I can heal you, but it's going to cost you $1,400 an hour. Yeah,
Right.
no.
Yeah. That's a
Work with
totally
me.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, historically speaking, if you went to the temple for the priestess and you didn't have gold, you could give them an offering of rice or meat or
Right.
maybe something that your wife wove, maybe some clothing, maybe a tool because you're a blacksmith. Well, I don't have any money, but I have this shovel. Can you use this shovel? Here's a knife. Of course we can use a knife. We're a temple. We're doing all kinds of, here's a chicken. I'm going to donate 5 chickens to the temple because I went to the temple and they helped me. It's barter. It's exchange of energy. It doesn't always have to be money. Okay, if somebody is uncomfortable taking money, they can say, hey, you know what? I got this $40 bill. Can you take care of that $40 bill for me? That way there's no corruption happening here.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I would manifest for somebody if they were fucking paying my rent. I would do it I
Right.
would do it in a fucking New York second. Not a problem, man. You want me to manifest you whatever and you're going to pay my electric bill? Fuck yes, I'll work for you. Not a problem. Because at the very least I'm stable. I'm being, there's that idea that
Right.
I don't have to worry about those bills because my devotees are paying for that. And that's just like a church. Well, it's supposed to be. These
Right.
mega churches with these preachers rolling around in billion-dollar homes and taking billion-dollar vacations and no, that's no. That is no. I don't give a shit. That's no.
I agree. I agree. And for them, a couple of them went on friggin' on live friggin' TV saying how they had to have these multi-million-dollar jets because they could not sit with the devils in coach. I said, what the friggity doodah?
No.
Oh, that's trying to make you pull yourself above the divine source. Yeah, good luck with that one, buddy.
Yeah, no. The thing is if their faith was real, they would be willing to sit in
Yeah.
that coach because they know that they're divinely protected.
And not
Don't
only
even
that,
try it
but
with
how
me,
are you going
buddy.
to reach the people?
Well, they don't
How are
want
you going
to.
to reach? Right, because it's all about
I mean,
them and money.
even if they're doing it business class, which I can see, okay, so you're going to go business class. All right. Okay, that's fine.
Right,
There's less people there. And and if you're empathic, you're telepathic, you can't have a lot of people around you because you can pick up on their energy. Okay, well then let's lessen that and put you in business class. That's okay. That's
right,
reasonable.
right.
But having your own jet is an absolute no. And I don't care what I don't care. I don't care. That
Yeah.
is corruptible. That's corruption. Period.
And then when asked to help with a homeless situation or something, oh, we don't do that. What?
Yeah, no. You're a mega church. You
Yeah,
have $1 billion and you're not donating it to charities other than your own. Oh, hell
yeah,
no.
no,
Forget it. No. Yeah. But being and for some odd reason, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not a Christian. I'm not a traditional. There's no way I would ever identify myself as an American Christian. Not in a million years. Because there's this idea that I don't know if it's still true or not. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, but there's this idea that the church is only responsible for preparing your soul for heaven, and that's it. There's no responsibility to the modern environment. There's no responsibility to what's going on in the world, in the community now.
right. And I'll
I
tell
don't
you
like
what,
that
the
idea.
reason why I actually got so pissed off at my church that I was attending, it was fine and dandy. We opened up another church in a really bad part of Lexington, Kentucky, but those people only got fold out chairs and we're only allowed in that church. Okay. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, enjoy yourself on these $45 chairs. And oh, by the way, COVID struck, but I moved the mailbox out to the road. Just drive on by and put your tithe check in. I mean, stuff like this I was listening to, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. You're telling me the people on proverbial Beale Street are not allowed to track their dirt into this church, so you had to make a separate one? Wow, that sounds like effing segregation to me, and I'm not about that. I'm not coming here because I want to see who's wearing the best shoes and the best clothes. I'm here because I need some spiritual guidance. And
Okay.
you're up there. Yeah. So
Yeah, I can
I
answer
was
you.
like,
I can answer
done.
your I can answer this question for you. I can. Are you
I was
ready? And it's
done.
going to be a little convoluted and it might not be what you want to hear, but it is valid. Okay. Remember what I said about energy, reciprocation of energy?
Yes.
All right. This goes back way, way back, even before Christians. This was also a pagan idea. Okay. If you have a king, all right, now this king, way back, even into the 12, 13, 14, 15, 1600s, all right, they're having to do things that aren't exactly moral or ethical according to religious order or structure. Okay. They are going to war. They are ignoring people. They have to do these things. Okay. And the one person that you cannot run away from is yourself, your own
Right.
inner being, your own inner divine being. And for a person of that amount of status who is in that type of leadership role, because I mean, when you get right down to it, he's deciding who lives and who dies.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, not every king was terrible. Some of these kings who were terrible had to be terrible to protect their people. Okay. I mean, let's
Yeah.
historically speaking,
Okay.
in reality, no lore, no myth, and just pure documentation. Dracula had to be a horrible person because he was holding off the 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 Turks. They were torturing, they were putting people alive on fucking poles, people. They were impaling. And it was all because of, well, you don't worship the same God I do, blah, 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 blah. All right. In order to protect his people, because he was totally landlocked, man. He doesn't have any help. Okay. He's on the scene. He cannot wait for Rome to muster for months and then send an army. This shit's happening now, people. My people are dying now. I have to be cruel. I have to be horrible in order to protect my people. All right. So these kings were not soulless demons. They were real people with real feelings. And I don't doubt in my mind that at some point, think people like, Henry VIII and shit are sitting in the chapel and praying and going, I promise I'm not a horrible person, but I can't, why am I being forced to send these people to die on behalf of the country to protect, freedom isn't free. And it all
Right.
comes down to the king. It all comes down to the king. Okay, so the king, heavy is the crown. Wait, heavy is the crown on the head that wear something like that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, all
Yeah.
right. You cannot run away from yourself. You cannot run away from your inner divinity. So it's not implausible that a lot of these kings went mad because they knew they were doing the wrong thing. Okay. The only thing that's going to ease your mind, the only thing that's going to ease your spiritualness is by having some spiritual person praying for your soul constantly, day in and day out, that you really are a good person. You can't step off of your throne to go join a monastery to relieve your soul. You have to pay somebody else to do it. You just do. All right. So the church gets this idea. Well, hey, if you pay us money, we'll pray for your soul and it will get you into heaven. And that it started out as a good intention. It started out as a necessity. And then the church got corrupt, as most organizations do. All human organizations get corrupt at some point. Somebody said, hey,
Right.
you know what? This is a great moneymaker. We're fucking eating like kings while the king is eating like a peasant. This is good. It just depended upon which monastery you're talking about. Depends upon what church you're talking about. I mean, even in the Catholic Church, you had some churches that were corrupt and some churches that were not. You
Right.
had some churches. Okay, like I know this is a fictional tale, but Brother Cadfael, the Cadfael Files, was about a monk. He had been a soldier, okay, and then he retired and became a monk. But the church paid for him to be there to learn how to make medicine. He was a great healer. He was a learned man. He had the time. The church paid for the materials to teach him. They had the books, they had the herbs, they had the fire, the wood for fire. Somebody's got to chop that. Somebody's got to pick the plant. Somebody's got to cook. Somebody's got to do all this stuff. There's somebody in the church working on the behalf of somebody else. And that's why you have this overarching idea that the church can be corrupt, because money, it's not money that corrupts, it's greed.
Right.
Greed corrupts,
Yes.
not the money. The money is just energy, it is an idea. The greed is what corrupts any spiritual person. It doesn't even matter what kind of greed. Greed for money, greed for sex, greed for drugs, greed for whatever. Okay, it's
Right.
greed that corrupts. Greed. And so that's the answer to your that's the answer, is that there are some people who do not have the benefit of being able to be spiritual, so they have to exchange energy, and the best way to exchange energy is with money. Okay, and so yes, you do have churches that have, portions of which their parishioners, their patrons, who give them money on a regular basis, they're treated better than, say, the
Yeah.
normal average Joe. And while the normal average Joe looks at this and says, well, that's not fair, well, it kind of is, because there's more there going on than meets the eye. And that's why.
Hmm. I used to give bags of pennies because that's all I had to give. It was amazing that what came back to me in those little bags of pennies. That's all I'm gonna, seriously.
Well, that's why Jesus said what he said.
Right.
Was the
The
rich man?
widow's
The rich
mite.
man could give the church, could give, thousands and thousands of dollars. But what is more valuable is the poor man that gives his penny.
Right. And it's true
Yeah,
because it's
it
given
is
out of
true.
the heart instead of given out of
Fear, fear.
yeah.
Yes,
There you
and this is
go.
true. Patrons, it is common for those particular patrons to give out of fear. Fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fear-based energy, and thus that energy is not as powerful as a love-based energy.
Thank you. Yes. Absolutely. It's true because it's yeah. Don't let one hand know what the other hand's doing.
Well, it's some of this. Okay, it is easy to point the finger and say guilty, guilty, culpa, culpa.
Right.
Okay, but
Right.
the fact of the matter is that some of these people aren't coming from that place. They have to do things that they normally would never do for the sake of others.
Boots.
Okay, now I'm not saying that that's not I'm not saying there's no corruption there, because obviously there is, but having a little faith in humanity, not every person is evil like that. Okay,
Right.
and there are some people who really are, they have to be in the shadows, they have to make decisions like this. Well, for example, let me give you a perfect example of this. Alan Turing, the inventor of the Turing machine, he's the one that broke the code. They're the ones that broke the code during World War II for the Axis. Okay, they could not reveal the fact that they had broke the code. It would ruin everything. So this group of people knew what the Germans were doing before the Germans were doing it, and they couldn't tell. They couldn't say. They knew that there were going to be people dying, thousands and thousands of people dying in this war, and they had to allow it to happen. Do you know what that does to your insides?
Oh God, can only imagine. I couldn't imagine. I can't.
You
I
could
can't.
you could have saved whole fleets of ships. You could have saved millions by saying, oh, Hitler's going to hit this target and this target. Everybody run, everybody evacuate. But that would have revealed the fact that you knew what they were doing. It would reveal the fact, and then they would change it, and you'd have to start all over again. Instead, you kept up the ruse. You had to decide who was going to live and who was going to die, and how many.
Mm, mm, mm.
That war would have gone on a little bit longer. Now, this is what they're saying. This is what the historian's saying, that without Alan Turing and this strategy, the war would have lasted a lot longer and a lot more people would have died. But because they
Yeah.
kept quiet, Do you see how this could
Yeah.
possibly affect the spirit of a human person? These people
Oh, hell
didn't
yeah.
want them to. It it's bad.
Wow. Yeah.
But we can look back and we can say, okay, we understand why you did what you did, and we forgive you. We forgive you. But that person is still going, no, you don't understand. I
Yeah.
am the reason why these people are dead. I mean, seriously. Because it's not just you causing death, you're causing grief, you're causing sorrow, you're causing pain, you're causing suffering, because these people are connected to other people. These people cry, they mourn, they grieve, they lose, they loss. This affects a person's divinity, a single individual person, their entire divinity, not just their light, but their shadow too. Their inner demons feel this. Why couldn't I have protected myself from this? I knew this was going to happen. I deserve to be punished. And that's that inner demon coming out, not because they hate, but because they love.
Huh.
Twisted. That brings us back to that twisted thing. But
Twisted.
still, yeah, twisted. But the reality remains. The reality remains. I'm not saying that the church is not corruptible, but it is in this way because people need that. It does. Other people do corrupt that. And not just
Right.
people, but also the leaders, because they do not understand the purpose of it. They do not understand the purpose of it. They just say, well, I'm going to go
Oh,
do this. And then they do it, but they do it without any understanding. There's intelligence, but there's no wisdom to back it up. There's no wisdom to apply that intelligence to.
huh.
But we can't blame them for that, because
No,
wisdom only comes with experience.
I just don't have to be part of it.
Well, no, you don't.
I can't right now. It's too
Well, no.
much for me.
Yeah.
It it tears me up.
Well, I imagine it does, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of compassion, and it takes a whole lot of love to be able to tackle that kind of thing. That's why it's a job for angels.
Right?
Yeah,
Thank you,
well, you have
Angel.
to have,
Yeah, hell
yeah, you have
yeah.
to have faith, you have to have trust. It takes an enormous amount, you know. I mean, it's a really hard path to walk, very, very difficult. And that's why the people who walk that path are saints.
Yep. Indeed. Indeed.
I'm definitely not a saint.
Me neither. Me
Nope.
neither.
Nope. I am still part of my journey where I have to have some type of reciprocation. I really
Uh,
do. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of that at
no,
all.
it's just all a part of, everybody's got their own journey and their own personal walk. And yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yipper doodles.
Oh, oh boy.
Dang. Wow. 2.5 hours. Shit.
No, girl.
Holy shit balls. Okay, all
Rolling
right.
up on 3:27 p.m. here too. Rolling up on the
Oh,
3:33. So,
oh wow.
oh,
Somebody.
here, Finner's back.
Two
We've
and
been
a
talking.
half, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, Finner. It's been it's been quite amazing. Yeah, go back and repeat if you can.
Yeah.
Hopefully not in one sitting.
Yeah, this one is probably going to be done in chunks, because
Yeah,
there's a lot of truth bombs coming down. Boom.
right,
And
right.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the first 2 hours was channeling. The last half hour was all me. And that's
Yeah.
the reason why it was so long, is
Ah,
because there was there was too many
Yeah,
people wanting attention, and I'm like, okay, all right, fine.
yeah. It was all us, just us real people here.
Yeah,
Oh, with that said, I want to thank Finwar for coming by. Of course, Darth. We had oh my God, my mind is Eastland. Eastland, thank you. And I think Jens came by. And of course, Mama here, who AKA, if you don't know who is really behind the volcano, I'm not gonna give it away.
it's Keithia Star. Star Arcana
I ain't gonna,
555. Keithia Star here with a stream video and V Star. Yeah.
yeah. Look forward to our Wednesday shadow work. I think that we
Yeah.
should just keep a Wednesday stream going on seriously until we're told not to.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. Again, the only reason why I tapped you today is because of I was specifically asked to do this by
Oh, and it's been
a
my
divine
honor, man.
entity.
I'm
So
glad. I'm so glad that because usually, well, I never have my phone on, by the way. It's never turned on, so I don't know. I only know when I'm supposed to look at my phone when certain messages are coming in, and there you were. And I'm like, right on, let's stream it. I
yeah.
mean, there was no immediate yes, no hesitation whatsoever, especially because of the other conversations, especially what happened to me this morning. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so this has been brilliant. Thank you. And
Yep.
thank you so much.
Yep.
And
Well, thank you, V, for having me on because I like I said, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this without you because I still haven't set up my computer. Um, I have no way of doing this except over my phone. So
right. And it's
yeah,
my pleasure. Seriously, because hey, where there is two, there is divine source. That's all I
that's
got to
true.
say.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. We'll go with that.
All right.
Okay.
And with
Well,
that,
yep. Bye.
all right, we're going to sign off. Love y'all. Have a brilliant Resurrection Sunday, Easter for whoever celebrates. And we'll see you around.
+5, y'all.